Can you see a cat? How do you even see a cat? I don't see one in frame. Bam, 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 bam. These guys play a lot, I want to say. In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, we have Skillous.
You are doing something right, Captain.
And in the top left, as the blue Protoss, we have HellraiseR. Starting off on Nightshade, one of the more popular, if not the most popular maps to be chosen, actually. In like all of the matchups that we have. Yeah, HellraiseR and Skillous. I'm actually gonna look this up. I'm curious. It feels like I cast them PvP against each other all the time. All the time. Let's get some stats. You recently played in the stay-at-home qualifier, HellraiseR won. TSL qualifier, HellraiseR won. Oh, they actually haven't played as much as I thought they did. They play so many PvPs, though, independent of each other. And I'm actually really surprised they have not played each other in this tournament yet. Like in any of the ESLs. Which is really surprising. I could have sworn they have, but apparently not. Apparently not. Thank you, Gareth8, for the 7-month resub. We do have a proxy pylon with a probe standing by it. Standing guard. Probe wants to do something. Proxy robo. Notes that it's not so much in proxy as it is just hidden, but still. You can't assume that it's a proxy robo. Even as you come back in and maybe see the lack of a nexus, there's still that chance it's a Stargate, but probably the biggest problem is that you really don't ever get a chance to come back in and see if it's a nexus or not. The attack hits pretty quickly. The probe should be denied access to the natural by stalkers or sentries or depths or anything that really pops out, right? In this case, definitely stalkers.
Warning.
And your sentry for a hallucination doesn't happen until kind of the attack is already about to hit your face. So it's a little off time there. Thank you very much, Patch Tech, for the 5 gifted subs. Really appreciate that. I have no idea if my emotes are working because, like, even the, like, my stream deck is broken and my emotes aren't showing up when I use them. When you guys use them, it's fine, but, like, holy hell. Everything broke today. Why is someone casting Bly versus Hero Marine? Because Bly gave a lobby link, but I have no idea if anyone else was casting it. Like, I'm sure if you used your noggin, you could figure out that it was probably just, like, unfortunate timing, where people were already in-game and didn't get access to the lobby link. Didn't realize it was happening, that it had started, not that it was already, you know, 1 or 2 games in. I'm sure you could figure that out. Alright, so this is a little bit complicated, especially... Oh no, this actually is more complicated for Skillous than it is for HellraiseR. This is actually a disaster for Skillous. It's a straight-up disaster, and that actually would be a game-ending disaster. So, I was gonna say it's a bit complicated here for HellraiseR because he has to push down his ramp into Skillous, who's gonna be reinforcing with potentially a sentry, but HellraiseR just blitzed. He was just like, you know what? You don't have a sentry. I already have an immortal. Like, F you. F you and your proxy robo. I'm going to hit you. And this is an amazing hold. An amazing hold against a hidden robo. This is actually, like, I don't see how Skillous recovers from that. He's finally got his own sentry here to try and help, but that doesn't go well for him. Doesn't even get that one stalker. Skillous is... you just tap out, I think. War Prism does get into the main base with a couple of adepts, so that's what forced the recall there, but... I guess tapping out actually would be a bit cruel, wouldn't it? Like, if he can buy time... Oh, that's very awkward. If he can buy time, because it is one of those weird things where they both basically went for the same thing, right? Proxy Robo versus Robo on one base, you're still doing it around the same number of probes. So... Oh.
Game paused.
Out. Chill out. I should leave. They're saying something. That's a lot of something.
Game resumed.
Probably gonna kick him out of the lobby next game. Could try and give him the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe he's having computer trouble. Maybe his keyboard stopped working. Maybe his mouse stopped working. I don't know, but... It's pretty rude not to leave when they say leave. Chowbex is like Portuguese, isn't he? I don't think he speaks Russian. Okay, anyways. Alright, so what I was trying to say is that because they did kind of the same build, as much as it not working, like not even containing his opponent, Skillous still has a chance to macro out here, if he can buy some more time. At the end of the day, he did still lose an Immortal and his opponent didn't, right? And he still has his Robo in a very awkward location to reinforce. But... like, if he can hold on, I mean, he bought a bit more time. His War Prism actually comes back to help micros. That shield battery's on the way. Maybe he can make this work, but HellraiseR has a 9 armor supply advantage. His second Immortal finally joins up here. This is going to be really close. Of course, the biggest takeaway is that the Nexus is here. It's spawned in minerals that aren't helping Skillous right now, but he could maybe pull some probes into this to help out. That's not really what you want to do. You want to just win with the amount of units you have right here, right now. Shield batteries included, hopefully help out, but I'm looking at the number of actual punchers in this army. The non-sentries in Skillous' army, and it doesn't look like he has many left. He's got 2 Immortals going to be juggled to death, but his sentries, they threw down force fields that didn't ultimately net too many big items. They didn't get the Immortals, they didn't get a whole lot of Stalkers, and sentries, they have tickle damage otherwise, so... Skillous was down to 2 Immortals, a handful of Stalkers to actually pack a punch. Now he's down to literally just the 2 Immortals. Shield batteries will slowly regain energy. Nope, just kidding. Take that back. But Skillous has been overwhelmed here. And the attempt to macro out of this was, yeah, definitely possible. You gotta try. That is what that's supposed to look like. If your proxy robo doesn't work, you're kind of supposed to just be slapped. Well, at least that guy didn't join back in. He's out of here. Usually it's only for the best of 3, though. Like, it's on, you know. Usually it's how it goes. Players get interrupted, they say leave, you leave, don't get to cast that best of 3, but if it goes on, you're usually allowed back in. People understand that there's hiccups. They can be very random and not at all frequent, but... Yeah. Alright. Going for, unfortunately failed. Hayden Robo. Here's the red Protoss Skillous. In the top right, we have the blue Protoss HellraiseR. Not too often you see the proxy robo shut down that hard, but HellraiseR did seem to figure it out pretty quickly. Alternatively, HellraiseR might have already just been going for a one-base robo play. And it kind of just worked really in his favor. But either way, he had the necessary tools at the exact right time. He didn't panic or hesitate or turtle. He went, no, F you, I'm going to come down this ramp. And Skillous, I was not expecting that. If he had been able to evacuate, if he had realized, oh my god, like I don't have a sentry to stop you from coming down this ramp and you have a lot of shit, then he leaves. He might lose some units on the retreat, but the Immortal would have at least had an attempt to kill something in return, when it, you know, actually just pretty much died in that last game. And just maybe a bit more back and forth. But it really was such just like a little like bop. It was just like, I'm here, bop, go away. And it just turned into what it did, which is Skillous unable to hold, despite having shield batteries, despite having an equal number of Immortals. Just didn't have enough units in general. Asking about Command & Conquer Remastered play plans. I played it on Friday. I don't really have any urge to play it on stream again. Yeah. Unless people really ask, but it had to be more than like 1 or 2 people asking, you know? I might play it in my off time, just like I play like Age of Mythology in my off time, but it wasn't that great of a game to play on stream, and it's not that great of a game either. A lot of it's the nostalgia. I probably won't even touch the original. I'll probably just play Red Alert. Yeah, Probe of Skillous is going to not quite see the Nexus. I'm not sure it saw the probe dancing, though. Huh. It's a bit tricky, I'm not sure. Well, Skillous is not going to scout this pylon. Well, maybe this one will eventually. Doesn't look that way. This other Stalker's trying to scout as well. HellraiseR is actually doing totally normal things. Skillous also doing normal things, just a little bit later on the Nexus. A little bit faster on the Robo, though. There's the trade-off there. And it's a macro game. It's a good old macro game. That HellraiseR is a little ahead on. Going into 2 sentries immediately. Going into a Nexus a bit faster. Very slight differences. I wonder how bad it would be if SE brought in an engineer unit. The engineer unit would be so... They'd have to have other caveats, right? Like... Yeah. It'd have to be like Neural Parasite or a Mind Control, where it's one unit, not a building, or the building is temporary, right? You can maybe build 1 Stalker out of a engineered gateway, but... anything else would be way too powerful. Blink is going to be the option here for HellraiseR. He got that Robo at a very regular time and could have just gone into Immortals and War Prism. But then he added on a Twilight Council pretty quickly. So Blink it is for our blue Protoss Skillous. Still just working off that Robo. Could be going for the same attack we saw earlier today against, what was it, Hearthstone? No, didn't HellraiseR do this against someone? Well, anyways, it is the same attack that I'm thinking of. I forget who the players were, but yeah, on Everdream, just going through the middle of the map. He's got 1 Immortal, he's got 1 Warp Prism, otherwise only 2 Gateways, but no Forge. Well, okay, he just slapped down the Forge, but you get my point. Very delayed Forge, very delayed Twilight Council. He's going for the attack. HellraiseR does know it's on its way, but is it too late to defend? He's already got shield batteries on the way. 1 is done, but just the 1 is done. I'm not sure the other ones will finish up here. Skillous is going to wait for 1 more Warp In, so maybe they will in fact finish. Remember that his Warp Ins aren't actually that powerful. Only 2 at a time. Force Fields immediately come down. Good block from the Adepts on the ramp. Warp Prism available to now juggle the Immortal back away from being cut off from the rest of its family. And those shield batteries do end up finishing, and that is just a lot to have to punch through. Skillous, by already slapping down that Forge, it seems like he recognized this might not work as well as it did in the past. He's going to go for some harassment. Blink is not quite done, but it is on the way. Actually, it moves enough of the army out of position for a Forceful to get slapped down, but not a whole lot of units here from Skillous to kill the units that were still on close enough range, right, to actually hit his units. It was kind of awkward. That Force Field looked amazing, but it took forever for that 1 Stalker to die, so recall eventually happens here for HellraiseR, as he also pushed back the Immortal and the Warp Prism, and this is still not netting him a whole lot of victories. Skillous might have +1 on the way, but he is going to be behind on any type of Twilight Council tech, and that is a little concerning. Blink will be, it's done, actually, and will be available to take out Warp Prism harassment and to control the game. So we could see HellraiseR go for a faster third, but still on 3 gases, adding on a couple more gateways. Could be more so looking for an attack. Alright, he goes back into producing probes and adds a 4th gas, so maybe that 3rd will come down. Skillous has to be wary. He saw the Twilight Council, he knows how many Stalkers are worked in, kind of put 2 and 2 together, you know they got Blink. And if that number of Stalkers doesn't come into they have Blink, I don't know what does. He sees that there are, well, in general, just more Stalkers on the way. HellraiseR is delaying a 3rd Nexus, but he is grabbing a Forge, so we could see him kind of take any opportunities he finds to slice off an Immortal, to get a couple of shield batteries or a Sentry or 2. It's actually not many shield batteries here, but he could. He also could just say that's not going to work and go for the 3rd Nexus. It looks like he moves out, thinks better of it, and so with the Warp Prism, I think he will actually move out, but I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he thought that was a Warp Prism initially? Maybe he just really wants to kill Lieutenant Phoenix? I guess he really wanted to kill that. Alright. Warp Prism of Skillous is still available. Could get some scouting on the 3rd being placed down or not, but a lot more importantly, could get some harassment on the natural. HellraiseR just uses his Warp Prism for harassment as well. He's going to get a Dark Shrine. He is working his way up to charge and +2, sorry, +1. +2 is on the way for Skillous, as well as Blink, which does finish up as I just talked about it. So kind of the same army types now, but now Skillous has 2 more Immortals and 3 less Stalkers. I would prefer the 2 more Immortals, personally, as well as the upgrade lead. Skillous looking scarier. I'm really surprised HellraiseR didn't try and do anything with at least his Stalkers, right? Like, maybe not the entire army, but at least his Stalkers. I'm really surprised he didn't try to at least kill something. Well, he would have had the Blink advantage, but now it's Skillous who grabs the 3rd Nexus first. Adepts go into the natural. I decide that's not going to be worth it. Dark Shrine's almost done. Lieutenant Phoenix just got a scout on what's available as far as the defenses of his opponent, and he is waiting to warp some in. We got no cannons, we got no shield batteries. We do have an Observer in the natural, though, so a warp-in could take care of the DTs. And Skillous also says, you know what? A size-up that army can't actually kill it. +1 had finished for HellraiseR, so they would have been equal on upgrades. But Charge would have been done for HellraiseR. There aren't many Zealots. They could have been warped in. Skillous had those 2 extra Immortals. I really thought that was going to give him, yeah, a chance to try and take an engagement, but they both are erring on the side of caution, it feels. DTs in the main, natural, and 3rd. The first 2 are cleaned up without too much damage being taken. That's actually not so bad. 3rd one's still alive, though, and most importantly, pulling this army out of position as HellraiseR finally makes his move across the map. There's also a Warp Prism in his main, getting some Zealots in here. They are chargeless, that's a little bit awkward, but much more awkward is this engagement. Sentries using their Force-Field to try and just cut the army entirely off from the natural. That is so bad. That is also going to be a lot of the Force-Field energy Skillous is still retaining a lot of his units and warping in more. In fact, he's actually trying to add on some Archons here, which is a technology that HellraiseR does not quite have. He could use his DTs for his Archons, but he's not thinking about it, not yet anyways. Does he have his Warp Prism available? He does. It's all the way back here, though, so not a very aggressive stance at all. And it looks like he wanted to try and really abuse the out-of-position army. He didn't really get as much as he was hoping for. Just backs away. Just back away, man. He was also up against Skillous' +2. So maybe he clicked on the units and realized this fight was not going to go well for him. Pulls back. He did manage to kill some probes, deny some mining, but as far as the economy goes, kind of similar here. There's the spike as the probes were all pulled away from the DTs, but really not so bad. Still kind of in Skillous' favor overall. And Skillous also still has the upgrade lead for another 25-30 seconds. And he still has 2 more Immortals than his opponents. And now he also has an Archon involved, with more to come, no doubt. Oh, the Warp Prism is going to be denied! Shit. There it is. My mouse bungee fell over. I couldn't move my mouse anymore. Warp Prism died, Pylon dies, engagement finally happens. The Archon on the front line gets bopped first and foremost. The next 2 Immortals, though, although they were targeted, damn, it took them a long time to actually die. This one's still alive, and Archon's now getting some amazing shots on the left side. The Stalkers on the right side, a little more awkward of a tail over here, actually. The Immortals were doing a lot on the front lines, even though they eventually died. The Stalkers of Skillous weren't actually all attacking at once. They were all kind of choked up against each other on that ramp, and HellraiseR takes a surprising victory, considering the army types, considering the army supply difference, which was not very big at all, and consider that +2 was done for Skillous, and HellraiseR's only just finished. I am actually shocked that Skillous lost the fight as bad as he did. That is one you go back in the replay and go, how the hell did I actually lose that? Even with some of his Stalkers dripping around each other, I really thought he was going to do better, but his army was kind of caught off guard, and his Immortals probably should have been in the back line, just being able to fire away the entire engagement, and still, instead, they were caught first. And while they got a good 7-9 shots off, they probably should have been the last things to die. He might just have enough in the defensive, though. He's got Shards, he's got Archons, he has another Immortal here, and HellraiseR is just down to pure Stalkers. A couple more Zealots being warped in from the Warp Prism. The upgrades have finished up here, guys. It's all equal, and HellraiseR has 30 more armor supply just about. The Stalkers, if they're targeted by the Immortal, of course, get blown apart by it, but a good blink forward to take out both of the heavy hitters. The Archon and the Immortal go down, and the Zealots envelop the rest of Skillous' Stalkers, and HellraiseR proves to be the best PvPer of this tournament. GG. He advances on. To the round of 8. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the round of 4. And the brackets being not updated. He moves on to the round of 4. He's already in the semifinals. That means he's already in the money. Really good result for HellraiseR here. Wait, hold on. Was that the finals? Oh, what the hell? This bracket continually confusing me, man.